Welcome to Bonus Boss, a Cruel Fan Gaming podcast. I'm Benny Ulich, and this is Ryan Collins with me today.
Hey, how's it going? Just a reminder to everybody, today's podcast is sponsored by Ice Shaker, so check out that link in the description. Ice Shaker has some really cool products, so check that out in the description. Thanks.
All right, so what have you been playing lately?
I have been playing Ghost of Tsushima. I also have been starting to play a little bit of Madden, the new Madden
Is that
game.
21?
Yep. I haven't bought the full game, but they had a demo of it, so I've been playing that. I play a lot of sports games, so I've been playing MLB The Show, and that's pretty much it right now. I've been playing. I haven't completely beaten Breath of the Wild yet, so I've been playing that on my Switch. So those are kind of the main games I'm playing right now.
Oh, Breath of the Wild is a treat.
Yeah, it's a great game.
I finished the story several months ago, but there's still a lot more to do for me. So
yeah, they have some expansion packs too. So I think probably once I finish, I think I have one more boss and then go to the main castle there. But once I do that, I'll probably get the expansion pack anyway, just to kind of play a little bit more before they're supposedly working on a new one. But I think that they're doing mainly the Hyrule Warriors right now. Have you ever played that before?
No. So I know about it, and I know the core gameplay of it. I haven't played the first one. This new one's gonna be like same gameplay as Hyrule Warriors, but a different, the story follows 100 years ago from Breath of the Wild. So
yeah.
It looks interesting, at least.
Yeah.
I've been playing a lot of things because I try to play whatever I can from my backlog each month, and so I beat Horizon Zero Dawn just a few weeks ago. I beat Wonder Boy yesterday, and then I'm playing Super Hot Mind Control Delete right now. But then I also stream The Last of Us Part 2 on Twitch.
Yeah. The first one, the Horizon Zero Dawn, is that our role-playing game?
Kind of. So it plays a lot like Breath of the Wild, or like kind of that mixed with, I don't know, Far Cry or something. So
okay.
You have a bow and stuff, but there is a leveling system a little bit, but it's like an action adventure.
And you're playing that on PlayStation?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to play that. I forgot about that game. I'll have to look that up to see. That might be something I'd be interested in.
It's pretty good. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. What's the main storyline? A guy defeating monsters kind of thing, or?
So it's you play as Aloy. She's like an outcast from this tribe. Yeah. And the monsters in this case are like robot animals, and
right. Okay.
dinosaurs.
Yeah. I can see it now. Yeah, I remember. Yep. Oh, that's cool.
All right. So before we get into everything, I prepared a fun little trivia game.
Okay.
So I've got 3 video game themed trivia questions.
All right.
There's no prize, there's no penalty, just
no prize.
Let's just have some fun.
All right, cool.
All right. So this first one you're gonna get, I'm sure. The most popular American football video game franchise is named after who?
John Madden.
Of course. Yep. All right. Maybe this is a little more difficult. Which movie based on a video game did Dwayne Johnson star in?
Well, Jumanji is based on a video game, technically in the movie.
Yeah.
I mean the sequel. I'm trying to think.
So technically, I just remembered there are technically 2 right answers, but
yeah,
down a different one. So
and
I wasn't counting Jumanji.
I guess that was kind of only in the sequel, not really the original board game, wasn't it? I don't know. I'm trying to think. I mean, he's a WWE character, so there were WWE games, but it wasn't based on that.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. Tell me. I don't know.
All right. So the answer I wrote down was Doom.
Okay.
He
Yeah.
was in Doom back in like the early 2000s. But then I remembered the movie he was in just a few years ago, Rampage. That's
Oh
based on
yeah.
an
Yeah.
arcade game.
Yeah. I forgot about. I saw that movie too. It wasn't bad.
No, it didn't.
Rampage. Yeah,
I
it was
didn't. I
okay.
didn't. I didn't watch it, but the trailers didn't make it look too promising.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't great, but it was
But
like tolerable.
yeah. All right. So one more. What is the highest level a player can reach in Pac-Man?
Oh, jeez. I don't know. I don't even play Pac-Man, but I'm gonna say 100.
It's 256.
Well, that
So
was close.
if I understand correctly, I've never gotten that far. I love Pac-Man,
Yeah.
never gotten that far. But from what I understand in the original arcades, like there was a glitch. So the game was supposed to just get harder and harder and harder and you could play it forever. But there was a glitch that made it impossible to pass
Oh, okay.
256. So, all right.
So 1 out of 3.
Yeah, I
Not
mean,
bad.
no prize, no punishment. It's
Yeah,
cool.
exactly.
It's all good. All right. So the obvious thing to talk about if we're going to talk about games are the PS5 and the Xbox, right?
Hmm.
So I guess we're both PlayStation boys,
Yeah,
right?
we're both PlayStation guys. That's true.
So let's start with talking about the PS5, right? They made their big announcement last week. There was all that pre-order nonsense where
Yeah, that was kind of discouraging that they just seemed to like not have a plan for it. I had signed up for like the Best Buy alert to get an email, and I got the email, but even when I went on, there was like no way I could even get one in, even in the cart, like the shopping cart experience wasn't even working. So then I went to Walmart, I went to a few different, I couldn't get one. Um, so a little disappointing there, I guess.
from what I understand, a lot of retailers had posted the pre-orders early. Like
Yeah, yeah.
Amazon put them up early and didn't send out notifications. I had notification alerts set for Amazon, and they didn't do it until they were well sold
Yeah.
out the next day. So
Yeah.
when they were supposed to go. So I mean, besides that, everything looks pretty exciting, right? So
Yeah,
like,
I'm kind of okay with the with not pre-ordering. I mean, like as long as I can get one by like Christmas time, like I'm okay. It's just it kind of sucks being if you're one of your friends, like the last one to have it kind of thing.
yeah,
But at the same time, like I'm okay with maybe some bugs being worked out first before I get mine. Hopefully they do like another round of them or whatever. I saw that they were like kind of limiting the supply of how many they were going to send out, which is interesting. But
yeah.
I did see that it was like the fastest pre-order like of any console to like run out of supply like ever. They broke
Mhm.
like records of it,
I,
and even like GameStop and everything. Like, I mean, I couldn't find it on anywhere, but
yeah. So they did their big announcement. This was last week, right?
yeah,
And so we got to see the release date. So that's November 12th,
yeah,
and we saw the price. And there's two different models. There's the standard edition, which is going to go for $500,
yeah,
and then the all digital. So the only real difference is it doesn't have a disk drive, and that's going to be 100 less for 400.
yeah.
So are you're planning on getting a PS5? Are you going to get the digital, or you
Yeah,
want
I
a
mean,
disc?
as long as everything else is the same and it's just a disc drive, I'll probably just get the digital version. I mean, I think that probably GameStops and stores like that. But I mean, you could still do trade-ins at Best Buy and things like that, so you can buy like used games there. But for the most part, any new game that I play, I usually end up downloading rather than just going to the store and getting it. I do like having the physical copy, and I get that argument too, like that you
Mm-hmm.
want to when you purchase something for. I mean, games aren't cheap. Let's face it. So when you
Yeah.
purchase a game for $60, you kind of want something that's like a physical copy and be able to hold it. And they don't. the The thing for me was once they start getting rid of like the user manuals, those are kind of cool to like just have and like look through and whatever. But once they started getting rid of those, it was like, what am I buying really? Like just the disc going in and out. It just seemed kind of pointless to me. I've always had one, but I, as of late, like probably the last 7 games that I've bought have all been digital. So
Mhm.
that's kind of pointless to me.
Yeah, so I kind of like to have the physical copy. I like to be kind of like a casual collector in a way. Like I've got a bookshelf with my games and it's like just kind of cool to look at.
Yeah.
But like with not having the manuals and like at this point, I don't normally buy games for like when they're new because $60 is a lot of money for a game.
Yeah.
Um, but I'll look for sales, and oftentimes you can find like a digital copy of a game for pretty cheap if you just wait several months or whatever,
Right.
wait
Yeah.
until around Black Friday or whatever, big sales there. And so I've been getting a lot more digital games than I normally would. And additionally, like you get so used to playing digital that even popping a disc in feels like a hassle. Like I
Yeah.
gotta go
Yeah.
over to the bookshelf. I gotta grab the game. I gotta
Yeah.
put it in. And then if I want to play something else, I got to take that one out and put a new one in. It's
Yeah.
it's stupid that that feels like a problem, but
Right.
it
Yeah.
does.
Yep. Have you checked out at all the I think it's called Stadia. It's by Google. It's their like gaming system. Have you checked that out at all?
Not in detail. I
Yeah.
looked in. I did a little bit of research when it came out. Was that last year, or
Yeah.
early this year? And I don't know. I heard it didn't do great, but it's still getting some game support, so it
Yeah,
can't be
so
that
I
bad, right?
I actually got one
Okay.
because I was just kind of like interested just to like it ended up being like free basically. You pay like a monthly service charge or whatever, but through Verizon through my internet I was able to get like the uh console or controller really. There's no console. It comes with like a Chromecast, so
Mhm.
that's kind of cool. And it just hooks up uh fairly easily after a little bit of downloading. It's pretty easy, and most of the, I mean, they have good variety of games. There's not like a ton of like well known games. They did have like Assassin's Creed on there, which is kind of cool. They had some racing games and things like that. That's probably like their biggest drawback. But I wonder, like, I wanted to kind of get your opinion on. Do you think that that's the way consoles eventually are heading? That they'll just be like all download like that, the PS6 comes out and there's not really like a console, it's just a controller in a box kind of thing. We just download all the games.
I don't know if we'll ever get to the point where we're not looking at like specific hardware for the most
Yeah.
part, but I do think that the future of all digital is coming. But I think it will be a while because, like, right now, there's still, even in the United States, there are still a lot of places that don't have access to fast internet, and that kind of causes a problem for your
Yeah.
downloads. And, like, what if you want to get a game on release and now you got to wait 3 days to have it ready to play?
Right. Yeah.
Like I already had that problem a little bit with like I pre-ordered last year. I pre-ordered Kingdom Hearts 3 and I popped it in the day I got it and like my internet's fast, but I still had to update patches even though I
Yeah.
got the physical disc. And it's just like I think we're getting there, but I don't think we're there yet because they want to make sure that it's going to be accessible to everybody.
Right. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, we're probably a couple of years away from that happening.
But I think that there's too much money in selling hardware
That's
to
true. Yeah.
go in that direction fully.
Yeah, and they like to control, like, we won't get into all the specs and everything, but they like to control that kind of like thing with they like the console wars kind
Mhm.
of situation back and forth. Although this year they seem to be a little bit less focused on that. They just kind of like, like Microsoft was sending out tweets that were just kind of like, good for all gaming, like more consoles is good for all gaming kind of thing, which is true. You
From
know,
the Yeah, from the looks of it, Sony seems to be a little more aggressive in terms of like how they're addressing this and going more for like exclusives and like they grabbed the exclusive rights to Final Fantasy 16, which is a pretty big deal. But like Xbox seems to be going very much as very casual, like, hey, a lot of our games are going to be on the Switch, and
yeah.
pretty much everything you can get on PC or whatever. So like, it seems like they're focused on selling hardware and games. And
Yeah.
they're like, look, we have the most powerful system, so play here. But they're not necessarily saying, like, we're the only place you're allowed to play, though.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And it kind of gives me like I said, I'm a PlayStation player, but like it makes me look at Xbox pretty fondly, though.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what they. I mean, mainly the main reason why I play PlayStation is because like all my friends have it, so
Mm,
it's kind of hard when you're playing multiplayer games to then switch consoles. I do like the controller better on a PlayStation than Xbox. I know some people kind of switch with that
mhm.
themselves, that they like a sturdier controller like Xbox has, but overall, I mean, I think that PlayStation just has, for the most part, better games,
Yeah,
and a
I think
better
that's
support system. But although you would think that Microsoft would have, I don't know, better technology, but I think Sony has kind of made this their bread and butter, and Microsoft has so many other things that they're
mhm.
focused on. But
Yeah.
anyway,
I think with the PlayStation, you have a lot of great exclusive games, like even the stuff that they essentially own. You know, you've got God of War and Uncharted and The Last of Us now, and
yeah,
even things that seem a little like childish, like Ratchet and Clank, and they have the rights to Spider-Man. So like
yeah,
PlayStation feels like, for me, especially as like I don't really play a whole lot of multiplayer stuff. I'm very much a single player guy.
yeah,
Um, a lot of those games are going to interest me more than like, Xbox does have Halo,
yeah,
but I mean, I could play that on PC too, right?
yeah,
So
right,
what's the draw here?
yeah,
But speaking of Xbox, we can talk about that a little bit. The new Xboxes, there's two different models, and it's kind of like the PS5 where it's like a physical and digital, but they've got different names for it and different specs too. That I don't know a whole lot about the details, but the Xbox Series X is their big, bulky, strong one. It's got a disk drive. It's going to be a terabyte of
it basically looks
hard
like a
drive.
mini fridge, the size
Yeah,
the
it's
size of.
like, mm-hmm. Yeah, it does. Uh, and that's going to go for 500, about the same price as the PS5. And then the all digital version, which they're calling the Xbox Series X, or S, excuse me, Xbox Series S will be 300. So 200 less. The hard drive smaller. The the graphical, like putting it onto the TV won't be quite as strong, but if you don't have like a 4K TV, it doesn't really make a difference.
Yeah,
So for me, I will, if I ever get one of those Xboxes, I'd probably lean towards the $300 one because it feels very entry level and an easy way to get into it if you're from the outside.
right, yeah. Yeah, for this, it's kind of interesting because you could either look at it two ways, right? Like if you buy the digital version of the PlayStation, then you could, you're saving $100, so you could buy a game, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Basically, with that money, like $60, and then you have a little bit left over, and probably buy a controller or something like that, or headphones or whatever. But if you wanted to, you could buy the $399 version and then buy the Xbox, the other digital version, and then you have best of both worlds. And then you basically, the Xbox would cost you $100 extra,
Mhm.
but you'd have two systems if you were really into playing Halo and playing other games. I
Yeah.
might like eventually do something like that. I do like playing Halo. I used to like playing it a lot. It would be kind of cool. The thing is that for the most part, they have, now that they have crossplay and everything like that, like most of the games are on both systems. There's like you were saying, Spider-Man. There's a few that Sony has the rights to, and Halo, versus, and Gears of War, those kind of games. But for the most part, both are available on each
Mhm.
system. So it's kind of like, would you get two? I don't know. You'd probably just get two if you wanted to play those games, which for the price Microsoft is offering for that, it might be worth it just to have the other system anyway. And you can, a lot of people that are serious into gaming, they get two consoles. They put one in their like bedroom or gaming room, and then one out in the living room kind of situation. But maybe you do, an Xbox out in the living room and PlayStation wherever in your gaming room or man cave or whatever,
Yeah.
something different. But so yeah, I mean the prices kind of give you more options, although I guess they kind of the prices still are continuing to creep up for these consoles.
Yeah.
But they know that they can't really survive like a 600 price point. Just people are going to be like, nope. And I really do think that PlayStation was going to be priced higher, and then Microsoft released their prices, and they were like, okay, we're going to lose money. We have to price it lower. So
Yeah, that's kind of what it was seeming like. I mean, the PS3 was like 5 or 600 at
yeah,
release, and it just nobody wanted it.
yeah, it's too
Like
expensive.
the 360 was way less, and so more people got the 360. It's kind of funny when you look at like with that generation, Xbox beat PlayStation,
Yeah,
but like you look at PS4 versus Xbox One, I know way more people with PlayStations and Xboxes.
yeah. The Ring of Death hurt Microsoft with that one.
Yeah.
Huge. I actually had a 360 at the time. Mine, I don't remember. I think at like the very end, mine got one like right before the new consoles came out. Mine got the Ring of Death. But for the most part, I mean, I've had the PlayStation. I've had the PlayStation 3. I got the PlayStation 4, and then I traded in for the PlayStation Pro because it had more space to save games.
Mm.
So I got the Pro. Now I'm kind of wondering when to or what they'll give me when I trade in this the Pro. I might just keep it at that point
Yeah.
just to have it. But anyway,
I kind of like to just kind of hold on to my systems, you know. So like I still have my PS3. I bought it in 2012 and I still have it.
yeah,
And I've got my PS4 that I got in 2015, I think. So I
yeah.
don't know. It's
Yeah, the only ones that I have left, I have a Wii U, and I heard that they like didn't make too many of the specific one I had, so I guess it's like kind of worth keeping on, holding on to it. I have a Nintendo Switch and I have the PlayStation, and then I just bought my fiance the Switch Lite,
okay.
so for her birthday. So yeah, it's kind of cool to play the different games. She's getting into Animal Crossing. She plays that a lot. I played for a little while. Not really my type of game, but I played it for a little while just to kind of, play something together kind of situation. But and then Zelda's more my thing on for Nintendo. They got a couple games coming out too that maybe I play. I'm thinking about playing that Super Mario Stars. Um, redo
Okay.
redo game just to go back and play the N64
Yeah.
uh,
That was
Mario.
a really good game.
Yeah, that was like my favorite one. But yeah. So anyway,
Yeah, I've got kind of like a little console collection at this point. So I've got a Switch and the PS3 and the PS4, and then I have one of those the Super Nintendo minis, like the little.
oh yeah, yeah.
So it's preloaded with all the games, and then I've got what else did I get? Oh,
Those were pretty popular when they came out. They were like selling out
they
everywhere.
did sell out. I got one a few years later on eBay, so I got it for
Yeah.
less. I got it for it was in good condition, and then I have a 2DS and the PlayStation Vita, and
Oh nice.
I
Yeah.
tend to neglect a lot of them, and
Yeah.
like I kind of bounce back and forth. I have more games on my PS4 than anything, but
Yeah. The Switch is coming out with something new too, I think. An upgraded Switch, I think is what
yeah.
they're doing.
From my understanding, though, it's mostly just going to be for like more memory, better graphics, things
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you should still be able to play all the old Switch games on your regular old Switch or your Switch Lite or whatever. So
Yeah.
it
That
shouldn't
was
be a
one of the
problem.
things the PlayStation was saying that they weren't gonna offer you to play any like PS3 games or anything like that. So I'm not sure about PS4 games. I can't remember if they said that you would be able to play those or not. I know
From
that like if you bought like Madden now
mhm.
and had it on PS4, that basically they'd give you a digital code to be able to download it on your PS5 for free.
Yeah,
Some of the games that are late coming out right now, they'll let you, you know, not waste your money and be able to still use it on PS5, which is cool.
yeah. From what I understand, they're saying that like most PS4 games will be able to play on PS5, but they haven't been clear about like if that's just digital or your discs or both or
Right. Yeah.
exactly how that's working. But you know,
We'll see.
yeah. But speaking of the Switch, though, I think that it kind of brings in an interesting point with like, so when the Wii U came out, it was kind of in the middle of like, or early on with like the PS4 and Xbox One, and the Wii U didn't do so great, so they brought out the Switch, right?
Yeah.
So like, where does that fit in with the current console generation? You know, like it's
Yeah.
kind of separate, but it feels like it's just there. You know?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, like, when I was trying to buy the Switch Lite, um, they were sold out pretty much everywhere. So I think they're doing okay keeping up console wise with Xbox and PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
And they also, their thing has always been like newer games for longer. It just seems like they have certain characters like Mario, and that they can reuse those games a lot. PlayStation has some of that, some of those games that they'll kind of recycle, but for the most part, I mean, I think Switch is doing okay. Even when I bought the Switch, I
Mm-hmm.
don't think there was like that many available at the time. And people look for those gifts for kids at Christmas or around the holidays because it's more of an active
Mm-hmm.
console, so parents want to give it to their kids to be able to, and then they end up just using the hand controller anyway. So it does, it's not exactly the goal that they wanted, but yeah. So
Well, and I mean, when you look at it, like with the Switch, like we were saying with PlayStation, and how you have Uncharted and The Last of Us and all that stuff. Like you look at the Switch, it's the only place you can play Mario or
yeah,
Zelda or Donkey Kong or whatever. Like these characters, and
right, yeah,
like it's not like they're not making new stuff too. Like Splatoon came out, and that was a brand new thing, and that got really popular. And
yeah.
so, I mean, uh, I knew Switch was doing fine. I just find it interesting how like it always feels like Sony and Microsoft are like butting heads, you know?
Yeah,
But
because
then
those are more like I mean, more. I don't want to say serious gamer, but you know what I mean. It's like
it's what
it.
it feels like at
Yeah,
least.
it's just like the more aggressive games, the more aggressive titles, the more mature games, I guess that
Mhm.
that people want to play. You're not going to see really many mature games on Switch. I think the only one that they probably had was like Street Fighter. They offered some. I don't know if they offer any like shooting games like Call of Duty or anything like that. I can't remember if you
Yeah, I
could
don't
get it
either.
on it. But anyway, they for the most part they're geared towards kids and more for us it's like all the games that we played when we were kids, and then they
Mhm.
come up with like updates to it. It's like, okay, cool, like I want to play Breath of the Wild. I mean, that was like an amazing game in itself, so much to do in that game. The open world is huge, and it'll be exciting to see how much bigger the new one will be. The way that they're talking, it's going to be pretty incredible. So looking forward to those games on the Switch too.
And pretty much one last thing I can bring up is going back to Xbox. Microsoft just bought Bethesda, so the people that make the Elder Scrolls games, Skyrim and stuff, and Fallout, and they published Doom and Wolfenstein. Uh, First of all, that's huge.
Yeah.
What I'm thinking, I don't know what they're planning on doing. I'm not going to pretend to understand, the strategy here. But I think what a smart thing to do would be for Xbox to not make those games exclusive. Keep putting them out and make the money from it,
Yeah.
but then maybe like have a game or like exclusive content that goes to Xbox. So like you get Elder Scrolls 6, right? You can get that on your PlayStation, but if you get it on Xbox, you get, I don't know, I don't really know Elder Scrolls that
Yeah.
much,
Yeah.
like your weapons or whatever. I don't know, or an
Yeah.
extra story DLC even. Like I think that'd be a good way to do it. Also, it's what I want them to do because I still want to be able to play Doom on PlayStation.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I only played a little bit of Doom. I didn't really get into it. I only played like the one. I think it was. I don't know if it came free on PlayStation Plus, or if it was just like the demo that I played.
Mm.
But that's a decent game. What else did I play? I mean, I played Fallout for a while. Those games can get like there's a lot to them.
They're they're big. I started Fallout 3 on my PS3 and I got overwhelmed pretty fast. So
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
just so
there's a lot.
much to do. And
Yeah. Yeah, it's unfortunate because sometimes games get a little bit ahead of themselves and they put so much content there and it's good, but at the same time, then you're left like kind of lost in the game and there's too much to do. So,
Mhm.
um, yeah.
So what's some stuff like, okay, so you're probably going to get a PS5. What are some of the games that you're really excited to get your hands on?
Um, I mean, I'd like to see how. I mean, I play a lot of Call of Duty. I like to see like the new Cold War. I didn't get to play the. They did release a demo, I think, for a weekend for you to play it. So I'd like to kind of see how that gameplay, especially the multiplayer, works now that like Warzone has become so popular. It'll be kind of interesting how if they keep Warzone going with the same weapons and everything that are now, or if they go to more of the Cold War stuff. I would like to see how they play zombies because I don't know if you've ever played the Call of Duty Zombies, but it seems like it's going to be more like scary of a zombie experience kind of
Okay.
thing. So that would be kind of cool to see. I mean, I like a lot of sports games, so I'd like to see how like NHL and MLB and the sports games look on an impressive display, as well as like the firepower that the new PlayStation brings. Although it seems like every NBA game that comes out, they just a running joke is that they just add like more sweat to the guy's face, like it just makes it like like more realistic that way,
Yeah.
which is kind of funny. But overall, like the game. You can't change the game of baseball, right? You can't change the game of basketball. There's nothing to do there. It's just about the mechanics and the last NBA, I was kind of little disappointed with the. It just seemed very clunky, the
Mm.
gameplay. So I'd like a little bit of more fluid movement when you're playing. And I mean, I wasn't like with the games that they released. There wasn't anything that like really popped out that I said that I really wanted to play. That I was that interested in playing. But certainly graphics wise, the games looked pretty cool that came out. I don't know. How about you?
Well, for one thing, speaking of sports, it's kind of sports related. I'm waiting for a good wrestling game again. It's
Yeah.
been a little bit they've kind of gone the way of like more like simulation, like it's like a wrestling sim game,
Yeah.
and that's cool. It's fine, but I miss like there were a lot of really cool arcade style wrestling games on the Nintendo 64 and the PS2, and I miss that.
Yeah.
Um, keep the really good graphics, just let me wrestle.
Yeah. Yeah.
As far as stuff that's been announced and everything, almost everything. I mean, sports games don't really interest me a whole lot. Like
Yeah.
when it comes up on Plus, I'll try it out or whatever. But
Yeah.
um, her Horizon Forbidden West looks really good. The announcement for that came out right after I'd started the first one, so that hooked me. The new Resident Evil looks terrifying, and I love it.
Yeah. That is one that I would play. I've always played the Resident Evil game, so I'd like to play that one. That's true. I forgot about that.
I've only played Resident Evil 7, and 8 looks like it's gonna directly follow the story, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, the best is when you play the co-op mode and you're like, with somebody else playing and you're both like reacting to the game. It's pretty fun.
Yeah. Then of course there's the Spider-Man, the Miles Morales. It looks like it's just kind of a shorter game experience, almost like DLC, but its own
Yeah.
little thing. And Final Fantasy 16 of again 15 was great. I played 7 on Twitch and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of new to Final Fantasy, but that's going to be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's wrap things up a little bit, and
Did you have any did you see any of the free games? I forget if we mentioned those free games.
Yeah, so we've got on PlayStation Plus right now, and that's up until like October 3rd, I think. But first week of October when the new games come out. Right now it's PlayerUnknown's Battleground and Street Fighter 5.
Yeah, I played Street Fighter. I like it. The game can kind of be. It seems like there's like the way to win that game is just by kicking. Like it just always seems like even when I watch people play online and they're playing against each other, it just seems like they always get into who can kick faster or whatever and block. And I mean they're ridiculously good. There's people, but I like playing the campaign mode through that. Like you battle different guys and stuff like that. That's kind of cool. I haven't gotten too far into it, but overall I like the Street Fighter.
That's probably what I'll end up doing. I'll play the story mode and then kind of be done.
Yeah.
Because playing online fighting games is insane because everybody's always so much better than you.
Yeah.
So, and I just gotta like mash buttons to get some combo or whatever.
Yeah. It's similar to sports games because people just like if they play a sports game online, they're playing that game all the time. So they're like insanely good at it. But yeah.
And on Xbox, I had to write notes for this. They've got The Division right now and Armed and Dangerous, and both of those will be available until September 30th.
The Division was a good game. You can kind of like level up your character. It's more of like an apocalypse kind of situation. I really, similar to kind of like you unlock different zones and things like that. So similar to a lot of games like Red Dead Redemption or even Ghost of Tsushima, where you have to like unlock certain areas, kind of, or you're exploring areas that are, and then areas get harder depending on where you go and things like that. But I'm really impressed with Ghost of Tsushima. So if you haven't played that, go out and play it. It's really good. Really good storyline as well as just the fighting in it and everything like that. It's a really good game. You should definitely check it out.
It looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah. And remember, just check out that link in the description. Sponsored by Ice Shaker, the Bonus Boss podcast / I guess video vlog here is sponsored by Ice Shaker.
All right.
Anything else you want to bring up?
No, I think we've covered just about everything.
So what games are you playing this week?
I'm probably going to finish Super Hot, and when I do that, I don't know what's next, but maybe October's coming up soon, so maybe I should try out some horror games.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, make sure you check out Benny on the Facebook page, Cruel Fan Gaming. We stream his Last of Us. Also, his Twitch is Rad Benny. Is there numbers there, or is it just Rad Benny?
Just Rad Benny.
Just Rad Benny. You can check out Cruel Fan on Twitch as well. And I'll be streaming Ghost of Tsushima this week, so check that out. And thank you very much.